Remember when horse armor seemed greedy? When stormouts in World of Warcraft appeared to be the industry's biggest problem? Well, now we've got games as Ponzi schemes, and I'm referring to Star Citizen, which has been in development for the longest time. Who knows if it's ever going to be a real game? And they've announced that their new Legatus ship pack costs a whopping $48,000. Now, I haven't just added in 3 extra zeros for a bit of fun. This is real. I've heard some very strong rumors of legislation that is going to force them to rename this to the More Money Than Brains edition. And what it says here in this post about this pack is that the prices are where things get pretty eye-opening for Star Citizen. The Legatus bundle is mostly well known for its wallet-gouging price tags. The first bundle, the Legatus 2950, was released in 2018 for the low price of $27,000. So this isn't new. They've done this before. And if that is the case, that means that this works. People have bought this before. They wouldn't be doing it again. My goodness, who are these people? Fast forwarding to this year, and RSI is selling a Legatus 2953 bundle for the cool price of $48,000. That is over 3 times more money than an average minimum wage employee will make all year. Now, the sad thing is, this isn't just like the day before where it comes out, it's a scam, and even the dumbest of dumb people aren't really fooled. They come to terms with it. It's like a cult. There are a lot of people whose life is devoted around Star Citizen. This is a game that has raised over $600 million. Is there a game out there that hasn't released yet that has that big of a budget? Sure, there's probably live services that exceed it, but this game doesn't even really exist in full. You can play it. They'll be able to argue, no, it's not a scam. There is a working version of the game out there, but it's not feature complete. And it certainly doesn't have everything in it that they've promised. That has gotten them that $600 million. All the features that they promised that people have kind of paid money for. The game itself has been in development for over a decade, and there are definitely people who probably donated some money pretty innocently, say 10 years ago, and fell off at some point. They went, yeah, this game is never going to come out. This feels like a Ponzi scheme. They've moved on. But there are certainly people so far down the rabbit hole that they probably donated 12 years ago, and they're still donating. They're still coping. They're still telling themselves this is going to be the greatest thing ever because the developers promised they would never do anything false. Surely. It doesn't matter how many day befores, Starfields that we get, there will always be people who will unquestionably trust game developers, trust game publishers, and just buy blindly whatever they are selling. That's just how it's going to be. And we are going to look at some of those people. You'd think it's insane, but there are people actually defending a $48,000 transaction in a video game. But the way I feel about it, because many people are going to be using this argument, oh no, there's no problem here. It's $48,000. They charge that up front, they tell you, and if you don't like it, simply don't buy it. If you've got an issue, that is on you. And in some ways, that might be true. This isn't an essential service. We don't need this. It's a video game. We can live without the Legatus ship pack. It's not like they're trying to sell us our electricity for $48,000 and we've got no choice. We can just ignore it. But I do care about the wider industry, and this is bad for the industry. That is why I talk about it. It's not that I'm salty, oh, I want to play Star Citizen and I can't afford this, which some people say. They try and act like, oh, you're just jealous that you can't afford it. It's not that at all. I don't care about this because I know only dumb people are going to buy it. Again, more money than brains. That's all this is. What really matters is the wider effect on the industry, because once microtransactions are there and people are buying them, it fundamentally changes game development. It shifts priorities for devs, for publishers. If a microtransaction costs $3 and it takes an artist a few hours to put it together, maybe it takes longer, but let's use that as an example. If that costs $3 or $4 and a full game takes 5 years of work, 200, 300 people team, and that costs $60, the business people, the money people, where are they going to put their focus? It's going to be in the microtransactions. $4, 60 minutes to dish up, cha-ching, thank you very much. That is where the focus is going to be, and it is where it has been for so many years, ever since Horse Armor pretty much. those Xbox 360 days and onwards, devs have been chasing that cash cow. They stopped caring about quality single-player experiences. It's been live service this, live service that. That's what it's all been about, and it's only really felt like 2023 was the big comeback for AAA single-player games. Obviously, Baldur's Gate 3, but there were others like Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, that sort of stuff. They sold well, while live service juggernauts like Destiny 2 didn't quite do so well. So it was really nice to see, and this does relate to Star Citizen, because when you have a $48,000 microtransaction, and pretty much anyone is stupid enough to buy that, the whole development cycle is just going to be based around how can we get more people to buy this? Let's put all of our development resources into building more ships that people want to buy. Who cares about the guy who just buys the base game for $60, plays it through start to finish to experience all the content? Who cares about that person when we can get people to spend 50, 60, 100 million times the money for way less effort? So when anyone says just ignore the microtransaction and jog on, I just think someone like that is small-minded. They're not thinking about the bigger picture for the industry and what it's going to mean for your gaming experience. It's going to be too late for you if you simply say ignore the microtransaction, because one day either every game's a live service, which we've seen a bit of in the past, or even your single-player games are going to be infested with this crap. You can't escape it if people are buying them, because these business people, these developers, they don't care about me or you, they don't care about fun, it is the money. When we show as gamers that we're not having this, we will buy the box copy at full price if the game deserves it, like Baldur's Gate 3, and you will still make money. You will sell 25 plus million copies like Baldur's Gate 3 has, but you have to take a stand. You can't be totally stupid. You can't treat your wallet like you're a gambling addict at the casino. You've got to have some integrity, and again, I mentioned there are sadly some people defending this. For instance, this is a post about this on Reddit, and someone sane says, I don't understand. Surely this game must be a scam or is doing something illegal, like they're money laundering. I've seen people suggest that sort of thing. $48,000 for a microtransaction. And then the Star Citizen, I nearly said Starfield, there's been that much of Bethesda on this channel, this Star Citizen Defender, the Defense Force, they say, this is a bundle for people who already spent half of this money on the game. You can't just create an account and buy this bundle. Is this meant to be a defense? So it's like Lamborghinis or Rolex watches, I'm pretty sure, where you can't just go into a shop and buy it. They put red tape in there on purpose, so you feel special. You can only spend the big money on this pointless item because you deserve to. You are prestigious enough to do so, and they're doing it with this microtransaction as well. You can't spend 48k on a ship unless you've already spent 20 plus k in the past. That's what it's going to take. And he goes on to say, people, whales, asked for a very big bundle, which they can manage their hangars under single items. So they said, okay, these people can buy this bundle. How very generous of them. They've listened to the customers, they've delivered. Now, I've got to be honest, if this was any other game, I'd call bullshit on this. So I would just assume that the devs themselves went on their own forums and put a post in, hey, is there any way we can spend $48,000 on a ship, please? And then the devs go, yes, it's on the store. How great that you asked. What a startling coincidence. I'm so glad that we could help. But because this is Star Citizen, you just know that there are people who are so far gone that they genuinely did ask to spend this much money. It's absolutely crazy. And then we've got this person, and I love how Reddit is self-aware, and this person's avatar makes it look like they've got one brain cell firmly attached to their head. It does make sense. They say, everyone is acting like this is something you need to play the game, or something many players bought. It's possible that no one at all bought this. This isn't an escalation in money grabbing. It's a bundle for people that were already going to buy everything anyways. It actually makes doing so slightly cheaper. Oh, mind blown. I can't believe I didn't think of this. $48,000, that is a steal. Everyone sign up and buy this right now, because if you buy all the ships, it's probably $60,000, but you can get them for the low price of $48,000 through this remarkable deal. I get it now. I understand what these Star Citizen crackheads are smoking. And he goes on to say, at least in this game, unlike most mobile games, this money will well and truly give you all the things in the game rather than random chances at something It's really just sad to me that so many gamers just have no backbone. There was a time when, again, Horse Armor, any of these just one-off microtransactions were seen as totally unacceptable. People banded together. They said no. But over time, they've been chipped down, and now it's, oh, well, if it's $48,000, but we know the cost up front, that's fine. The issue is when it's a loot box or when it's random chance. That's the only problem. It's all bad. Don't let the publishers trick you, fleece you into thinking one is fine and the other is bad. It can be the worst of a bad lot. The gacha stuff, yeah, that is the absolute worst. But this is still the same because, again, it changes development mindset. If you have a game and they're selling a bunch of cosmetics on the store, what is the business-minded way of looking at that when you're developing it? Oh, well, let's just make sure all the in-game items look terrible and make sure the store ones look fantastic. That'll get people on the store spending money. They'll want to look cool. They'll want to look better than everyone else. And this person here, finally, some sanity. It's $48,000 for a fucking video game DLC. I love how blunt it is. And then the same idiot replies, "This is exactly the sort of misconception I was talking about. It's nothing that can't be earned in-game. It's not one DLC, it's a collection of all the paid content that they have released. And it's not DLC, it's specifically a collection of the in-game items that exist in the game for everyone, regardless of how much money that they spend." Are you hearing yourself? It doesn't matter how they bundled it or how this has occurred. It is $48,000 for this transaction. And what you're basically saying is if you add up all the crap that they've added in that you've got to buy with real money, it totals to $48K. That is ridiculous. And this is part of my point as well, because he says it's nothing that can't be earned in-game. Now, that might even be a lie. I don't know if it's true or not, but even if it is, it comes back to the game design. If there are transactions that are this expensive and people are buying them, are they going to make it easy or even fun for you to obtain the items in-game? Absolutely not. They're going to make it an absolute chore. They're going to waste your time, waste your life, because the only aim here is for you to get your credit card back out of your wallet. They don't care about your experience in obtaining them in-game. They're losing money if you do that. They're going to make it an absolutely insane, terrible experience for you to do it without spending real currency. And when we talk about development motivations, this post sums it up pretty well. This is why there will never be a full release of Star Citizen. It will never leave the crowdfunding stage. It will never have 100 completed systems. It's in their best interest to keep the game in permanent development. Yes, that is exactly right. Developers, whoever it is, they're going to do what's in their best interest. They've had suckers over the years give them $600+ million to work on this game that isn't even fully released. As long as these fools continue to hand out piles of cash to the devs, they've got no incentive to think about it. This is a business that is working. Promise stuff that isn't really there. People pay for it. They do just enough that they can't be called a scam. This is just going to be business to them, and it's sad. It wrecks the industry, because imagine what competent devs, or at least people who care about making quality games, could do with $600+ million. And maybe these Star Citizen guys, maybe they started out with the best of intentions. They went, yep, we're going to make the ultimate space game. And sure, making a space game might be quite challenging. You only have to look at Exhibit A, Starfield, for an example of how it can go horribly wrong. But it's pretty clear that these devs, as soon as they started to see dollar signs, priorities shifted. They realized we're going to make tons and tons of coin, tons of bank if we do it this way, if we keep stringing people along, and it is sad for the industry. Now, again, I don't really care about Star Citizen that much, but I want to re-emphasize one point. The idea that you can simply ignore microtransactions and it won't affect game development priorities for devs, it is ludicrous. It's a stupid argument from people who obviously buy microtransactions. They feel good about doing it, like someone would feel good maybe buying a designer handbag or an expensive car. It's the exact same mindset. They do it, they think it'll make them feel better, and it probably doesn't. It's pure cope, and I can only hope long-term most gamers vote with their wallet, and hopefully studios like Larian, for instance, keep getting rewarded. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.